Good morning, this is your Math Sensei, Mr. Sensei, and this is an introduction to solving systems of equations by matrices. But first, we're going to review solving systems by graphing. To solve them by graphing, the best thing we can do is put them in y equals mx plus b order. So we need to go ahead and start that with these two problems. So to do that, we want to get y by itself, which means I need to move this 3x. To do that, I'm going to do a minus 3x. And this will go away, and we have y equals negative 3x minus 10. At that point, we are in the proper order, and we can see that my slope in this case is m equals negative 3, but we want to write as a fraction, so negative 3 over 1. And my y-intercept is negative 10, and that's my starting point. We're going to start there at negative 10, which is way down here. Now, one thing I want to say is we need to keep in mind the angry slope man, which looks like this. And the vertical line is our undefined. It means x equals some number. The horizontal line with the two zeros means y equals some number. So if it's a negative slope, it's going this way. Positive slope going this way. Undefined is vertical line with this is x, and that's undefined. So we have a slope of negative 3 over 1, and we need to be going down. Well, I can't go down, so I'm going to have to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And this graph is a little bit messed up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So we'll do the best job we can as we plot the points. All right, so our graph may not work out perfectly as far as lining up all of our points, but they're pretty close. So they'll be close enough because we have a couple grids that are a little bit wide. Okay, on the next one, we need to move that 2x, and so I'll do that by adding 2x to both sides. This goes away, and now I have y equals 2x plus 5, because I can't combine the 5 and 2x, they're not common terms. Well, this is a negative, which means I need to switch all the signs, and I can do that either by multiplying or dividing by a negative, but I have to divide everything, and I end up getting y equals negative 2x minus 5. So my slope is m is negative 2, but we prefer as a fraction negative 2 over 1, and this is a negative 5. So my y-intercept's a negative 5, and that's my starting point right here. So we can go down 2 and over 1, and down 2 and over 1. Continuing this way, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. It looks like we hit right there. Up 2, 1, 2, up 2 and over 1, and then 1, 2, and over 1. So it looks like we're crossing right about there. Let's go ahead and draw a line. And once again, our grid isn't perfect, but it's close enough for what we're doing. So this is where they cross. So this tells me where my intersection is, and my intersection happens to be at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, and 5. So that's my intersection, that's my solution, because where the lines cross, that's where our answer is. So when the lines have different slopes, and actually all I really need to say is different slopes, we don't even have to have this. As long as they have different slopes, the lines cross and have one solution. All right. So all we really needed to say is when the lines have different slopes, the lines have one solution. Okay, so that's solving by graphing, which most people consider the easiest form. However, matrices is pretty good because if you notice, we have all we did was take these two problems, 3x plus y equals -10 and -2x minus y equals 5. Okay, so that's what we have from the warm-up. Now I'm going to rewrite it here. Okay, so I've rewritten it in matrix form. I put a little different type of bracket around it. And I notice I have 1, 2, 3 columns and 2 rows. And that's known as a 2 by matrix, 2 by 3 matrix, because it has 2 rows and 3 columns. All right. A rectangular array of numbers, symbols, or expressions arranged in rows or columns. And that's what we have. Okay. So when we look at these, how do they compare? And I'm going to say, well, they are the same. They have the same numbers, but the matrix does not have the variables listed. Now, sometimes matrices will, but not for this class, but it does not have the variables listed. So that's how they differ. Okay. So really, they're the same thing. It has the same constants, the coefficients. So the constants, the coefficients and constants are the same because here's my coefficients, and here are my constants. So the coefficients and the constants are the same. So the numbers are the same, but the matrix does not have the variables listed. You're like, okay, so it's a weird way of writing it. Yeah, kind of is. But we're going to find that the calculator has a whole lot of power when it comes to solving it. Now, it's a lot of button pushing, but I know you guys are really good with the phone, so it's not very difficult if you will practice it. So here we go. Let's try to run this out. So we're going to press the blue button, the second button, and then we're going to X -1, which is our matrix button. We're going to arrow over the word edit, and then we press enter. And then it says enter the matrix size. Well, this was the matrix C that we had in front. We had a 2 by 3, so 2 enter, 3 enter, because, and I just want to remind you that's because it has 2 rows and 3 columns. And now we're going to enter that values, 3 enter, 1 enter, and -10 enter. And here we have -2 enter, -1 enter, and 5 enter. Now that I have them, I need to leave the matrix. So this is where we're going to press the second. So once I have it, oh, and by the way, I should have said this, use the negative button, don't use the minus button. So entering the elements, entering the values, use the negative button right here, don't use the minus button. Well, when you get to this point, after you have everything entered, you're going to need to leave the metrics, which is blue mode. And then we're going to have to go back, and then you want it clear if it's not. And then you're going to have to go back into the matrix, which is blue, followed by the matrix button, arrow over the word math, and we're going to scroll way down until we get to letter B, which is RREF, and we'll press enter. And then we're going to press the blue button, followed by the matrix button again, and then we'll press enter twice. And I get this weird thing. Well, guess what that weird thing is? That is my solution matrix, and it says -5 and 5. So that tells me, and I'm going to go ahead and write this down this time, 1, 0, -5, 0, 1, and 5. Well, this is my X row, this is my Y row, so really my answer is -5, 5, where this is my X and this is my Y. And if we look back, that was exactly the answer we got when we graphed it. Okay, now I know that was kind of slow because that was the first time through, but let's see what happens if we can speed this up. Well, this time they didn't give me the matrix. They gave me the system of equations, and they're written in standard form, which is great because that's what I have to have. I have to be in standard form. So this is -5, -4, and 14. This is -2, -2, and 5. So there's my matrix. And so we're going to go ahead and enter it. So we're going to press the blue button and matrix. Then we're going to arrow over to edit. And we're going to press 2 enter, 3 enter. And we're going to enter our values. And here's our values. So -5 -4 and 14, then -2 and -2 and 5. And I got to tell you, the first couple times it can be a little frustrating, but if you do it 3 or 4 times, I promise you it's much faster. So now that we've done that, we're going to press the blue button in mode. And now we're going to press the blue button in matrix. We're going to arrow to math. And we're going to scroll way down to letter B, where it says RREF, and press enter. And now we're going to press the blue button in matrix, and we'll press enter twice. And we get -4 and 1.5. Now I'm going to go back real quickly. I don't remember that being my answer, so I'm going to go back and make sure I have my data entered correctly. So -5, -4, I guess that's correct. So -4 and 1.5. So this is my X and this is my Y. And we could check this out. We can plug this in for those values. Let's see what happens when we do that. So we have -5, parenthesis, -4, close the parenthesis, -4, and we're only going to do it for the top one, and then 1.5, and see if that equals 14. And it does. So it looks like we probably did that right. Okay. Now the problem is we have to always have an X column, a Y column, and a number column. In this case, that's not what I have. These are out of order. So I'm going to have to put them in order, and I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So I'm going to need a C column, a D column, and a number column. Now, always put the equal sign here. Well, the C is on the left side of the equal sign, so it's in a good spot. We're happy with that. So we can put that -5 and copy it just the way it is. Well, this constant, it's on the right side of the equal sign, which is the correct side, so we don't have to worry about that. But this D is on the wrong side, so I have to move it over. And when I move it over to the other side, it becomes a positive D, because whenever you cross the equal sign, your signs are going to change. So when you cross the equals, the signs change. Okay, this -17, it's in the correct wrong spot. So I'm going to have to move it over. When it moves over, it'll become a +17. This -3, it's on the correct side of the equal sign because D's are supposed to be on the left. So I can put that in the D column and I'm done with it. But the C should be on the left-hand side. So it should be over here. And when I move it over here, it's going to change signs and it will become a positive. Okay, so now I have my C columns, my D column, and everything's where they belong. So we can go ahead and do the matrix again. So going back to our directions, the directions say blue button, then matrix, arrow over to edit. We have a 2x3, and we can go ahead and enter our data, which is -5, 2, and 7. And then we have 2, -3, and 17. Once we have that in, we can go blue mode, and then we have to go blue matrix, arrow to math, and then we're going to drop all the way down to RREF, press enter, and then blue matrix and enter twice. And we get -5 and 9. So what does that mean? -5 and -9. Well, C came first, so this is C and this is D. Okay, the last one. Here we have a really tough one. We have an A, B, and C column. So we're going to have to make A, B, C, A, B, C. Here's our equal sign, and here's our constant column. Well, this A is in the correct spot, so it gets a 1. This B is in the correct spot, it gets a -2. The C is in the correct spot, it gets a 1. That's a -6. So far, so good. Then we have A is a 1. The C, that goes here, and this is a -12. I don't have any B's and I can't leave it blank, but if I don't have anything, having nothing is 0. So that gets a big 0. Then this A will be a -1, this will be a 6, this will be a 4, and that's a 3. Well, in this case, our matrix is no longer the same size. It's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a 3 by 4 matrix. So we're going to have to do this one a little bit different, but not a whole lot. Still same commands. We're still going to press the blue button and then drop down to matrix, arrow over to edit. But instead of a 2 by 3, we have a 3 by 4. So we're going to make it a 3 enter, 4 enter. And I'll go ahead and enter those data now. So 1 enter, -2 enter, 1 enter, -6, 1 enter, 0 enter, 5 enter, -12 enter, -1 enter, 6 enter, 4 enter, and then 3 enter. So now I have the data entered. And now that I've entered it, I can press blue mode and then blue matrix, arrow to math, drop down to letter B, blue matrix, enter twice, and we end up getting our answers. And I'm going to go ahead and write this whole matrix. No, I'm not. It's going to be 3, 3, -3. Because there it is, 3, 3, -3. And we always go in our choice in the way we set it up. We set A's first, so this will be A, this will be B, and this will be C. Okay, hope this helped. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. And the following video actually has me working some practice problems with you guys. Look forward to seeing you. Thank you.